and done.
I'm getting ready to turn the camera around to my brother Reg.
All right, all right. Today's podcast. This is podcast number 8. We're doing 8 of 9 here. We're almost down to the 9.
Guys, turn it
Oh,
on. Oh, get it together. What he said? What he said? What he said?
I got 7 episodes. We shot the So let me make sure.
These are babies. Yes. Hope none of y'all camera shy. Oh my gosh. Hi guys. Hi ladies. Hi.
Oops. No, I don't want to see your face. In here?
Yes.
Parent Initiative. We got brothers over here, Reginald Chapman. We got Cliff McDowell. We got Joseph Thomas. We have our production crew up here. We got Miss Tanya Bean who be popping up in our stuff there. Good to see her coming down here. We got it going on. Black Fathers Inc. podcast. Getting ready to get started. We got about 30 more minutes. We're about to do our thing. Very happy to have our guests here. And I'm going to be walking around just showing y'all all the mapping. Usually when we do this, it is a family affair. So we really like just having folks come out here and watching everybody work. We got people that are learning media production from our crew, from our stage and media crew. You know, the professionals are out here teaching our volunteers how to start to do media production, which is very important.
Wait a minute. Yes. Well, that was a hard act to follow. I'm not going to follow it. You heard what the man said. We're getting ready to get started here. Every podcast is always great. Those of you that have been with us before know this. I'm excited. I got my big brothers at the table, all of them, for the ones I do know and don't know. Just excited about the topic tonight. Just always something that you can take away from it, especially just dealing with kings. I'm in a room of kings and I'm very appreciative, very humble. So stay tuned. We're going to get started shortly. And I know you guys hear echo, but it's because we're shooting 2 cameras at the same time. So stay tuned. I'll be check with you guys. Get your water, get your popcorn, get your snacks. Just don't miss the show. Don't be late.
I just needed it.
How's everybody doing out there? Glad to see how many we got on here. We got some folks on here. How's everybody doing? Thanks for your patience. I just lost my screen. I'm using somebody else's phone. How you get back to the screen, Luke? Okay, I'm back now. Does anybody have any questions? When we getting started, Luke? About 15 more minutes, we'll be getting started. If you can, when we get started, before we get started, like I like to do is get everything I need to get situated. What'd you say about the mute button again, Luke?
Please go on mute if you're not talking.
Oh yeah, okay. So he's saying that this go over the podcast etiquette for Zoom. We would love to have the cameras on at all times so we can have the visible audience and also the mute button if you're not real sensitive noise in here. So if you're not speaking, to keep the mute button on, we appreciate that. What else? Y'all help me out because we got some folks in here need to know some stuff too. So what else we need to do? Who we got on here? Vince. What's up, Vince?
What's going on, big bro?
Kevin. Denise, how you doing, Denise? I don't know who D is.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I can't put my camera on. I'm at work.
Oh. Luke got the phone back. Hold on a second.
All right, so what do you need to know? Just your number. Phone number? Mm-hmm. What did you know about it now? Yeah, no, 302. 981 3114. And then just send me a Zoom link to it.
Thank you for coming.
Zoom link. Okay.
Okay, you all. So we're coming down to the last couple minutes before we get ready to start the podcast. I just want to remind you all, first of all, I want to thank everybody for just coming out, being a part of this podcast. It's not always easy. We want to try to keep people entertained while we're doing the setup because it's important for folks to see the setup and see all these beautiful Black people working together in unison to create something spectacular. So we rarely get to see it in progress. And that's why we're doing so much to try to bring it to you as we're doing this live podcast. So again, my name is Imani Lucas. I'm with an organization called United and Guided. We are partnered with the California Department of Public Health, the Perinatal Equity Program, right? Trying to help take a different spin on perinatal health by way of the Black father, right? So this is what we've been doing for the past 2 years, promoting Black fatherhood, knowing that there are Black fathers out here that are working and they love taking care of their family. They've taken that as their main responsibility and they continue to do it day in and day out. Not only that, we have fathers of adult children who love on other children every week. So you'll see United and Guided out at Tahoe Park every Sunday. It's called Papa Bear's Village. We call it our self-care Sunday. Every sunny Sunday, we are out at the park as parents. We bring our children out, all about being bringing that bond together, right? Being able for not only kids to bond with other kids, but parents to bond with other parents, and then adults to be able to bond with children at the same time. So these are the things that we are trying to do to influence our community, to understand that we can resolve our own problems. Once we get to the point where we are doing the communication, we can resolve our own problems. We can build businesses. We can build empires. So we're going to be talking about that today. It's about fathers in business. We got some great dads at the table getting ready to speak as the boys are setting up. And we are going to get started here soon. So I just want to shout out to the 7 people that are on the call right now. So big ups. Thank you for doing that. Our crowd starts to get bigger and bigger. I am going to ask when the podcast start, if you please put up your screen. We want to see your faces because it is going to show up on our monitor here, which is all right by the table while where everybody is. We're going to have a monitor and you get to see all the people who are dialing in. So you get to see your beautiful selves. We want to be able to see you. And then when we get to the question and answer, we want for you to be able to ask as many questions as you would like, but we also like to see your face on the screen while you're asking them. So you agree to that? Much love, much grace. And we're going to take a couple minutes before we get started. Give us about 5 more. Again, I want to thank everybody for their patience.
We're still here. They're still here.
All this on that big old screen over there. Y'all make me want to jump on there now. I want to jump on my screen. Now, we really appreciate you guys being here. One of the biggest things that I love when I see this set up and hear the conversation and everything that Imani said, I'm not going to try to go back over everything, but me being a dad myself and just thinking about the generational wealth that we try to provide for our kids and make it, to give them the advantages that y'all know some of us didn't have. So that's one of the biggest things when I see these young brothers in here. It's like they're for the next generation, right? While at the same time taking care of now. So thank you guys for being here and being a part of it.
Maybe go show that book. Go show that book. Go show the book. The book. Want to see that?
I've probably been seeing this all over Sacramento in the last, a couple of weeks it's been out there? A couple months? About a month. So I got my copy. So this is somebody else's, so I'm gonna give it back to them, but otherwise they're gonna hate, which is the title of this book. So make sure you get your copy.
You heard one of the greatest is in the room. We can always come across with you, AG. Always come across the greatest. So just a few more minutes and I promise we're getting started. Just working out the small other technical challenges. Again, thank you for being on. Thank you for your patience. Everyone is literally working hard in here. And I promise you, not because I love my people in the room, but these podcasts always are dope, always meaningful and impactful. So if this your first time on, you're going to get a lot of knowledge. If you've been on before, you can attest that this is great work, great vision. So join us soon. We're starting soon. And do not be afraid to talk. Put your questions, raise your hand. We'll see you and ask questions because I'm not afraid to talk. My mouth is always running. So I expect that of y'all as well. Ask questions. Stay engaged, please.
Hey, y'all. So I got to say, I'm so happy to see y'all. We're up to 9 people on the Zoom cast. So these brothers have drawn a crowd. There's a lot of people that want to hear what these brothers got to say today, and they're willing to zoom in on Zoom. So if you cannot get into the Zoom call, feel free to check us out at UAG TV on your YouTube. Go right to YouTube. This will be going on, bloopers and everything. So you'll be able to see that recording of all of this great stuff that's happening. As you can see, we got the crowd going over there. The TV is almost up. Our big screen is happening. We're prepping our guests. They're ready to interview. We got the host that he's doing his his media spiel right now over there. I'm gonna get away from him so he can get loud to talk to his group. But I'm just really happy to be here, y'all. Thank you, all 9 of you, for sticking with us. Usually our podcasts run for about 30 or 40 minutes. So we're going to engage in some good conversation. I hope you guys have a lot of questions, because it's going to be the questions and your faces on the Zoom screen that's really going to make our studio audience pop. And it's going to keep our guests engaged. You know, they came here ready to answer whatever question it is. We got brothers straight out of the penitentiary that came and decided to build business or build multiple business to sustain themselves. And as you know, people who have gone through some of that have very difficult times finding jobs, because you always have to put that on your record at some point, right? And that really discourages folks from even going for just regular paying jobs sometimes, just because they know what the answer is going to be at the end. So the wonderful thing about our new economy, our gig economy, is that, you know, there are less restrictions for going out to be able to make the money that you need or want to make. You get to work at your own pace and on your own time. Sometimes that's key for people, right? For their own mental health. But on top of that, if they can maintain an income just as they would if they had a normal 9-to-5 job, well, then so be it. Sometimes that's a better way. And then it gives you that flexibility, that peace of mind, and everything you need to continue to advance. So just keep that in mind for those folks that are looking for a career. There are great careers out there. The only thing I would advise you to do is make sure that whatever you do, that you love it. If you love it within your heart, you'll never work a day in your life. You'll be able to sustain yourself and the people that you care about, right? Because when you do what you love, it gives you what we call passion. And when you have passion for stuff that you want to do, you're going to do it even more and even better and even longer, right? And not even thinking about whether there's some type of a reward or some other way to acknowledge that it's good. You already love it, so you're the only acknowledgement that you would need, okay? So I'm just talking because I could do that. But I realize that we are getting ready to get started. So I'm going to give y'all a couple more views. And then, you know, I'm waiting for your questions. So if anybody has any questions or anything they want to talk about now, feel free to chime in. Now is your time while we're getting the setup, and most people going to hear that. All right. It just got a little quiet, so that means we're going to get close to the prayer. So when it start to get quiet, bro, gonna say, all right, let's gather for a prayer, and then we're gonna do our thing, we're gonna bow. So I'm gonna show y'all that as we go along. But we close to that point. You know, usually when it dropped down the decibel, it's because of two things. One, because I didn't stop talking. But the second one is because we're getting ready to do our prayer. So stay tuned. A few more minutes, we're gonna get that going. But also we do want it to go moving with a smooth flow. So say what's on your mind. Somebody else knows.
What's up, Amos? Thanks for getting on, man.
With it. What's up?
Yeah. All
Try
right,
it.
man. Good to see you, bro. We getting ready to get started here in a minute.
I'm under the truck, so it might be a little distraction, but I'm under here putting this stripping on.
Okay, it's all good.
At work.
All right. Okay, y'all. So we're coming down to it. We're getting ready to get started. I want to remind you, there is a Zoom link to get on if you would like to be a part of our Zoom studio audience, but you can also catch us on UAG TV live right now. We're doing our thing. You can go to YouTube, again, UAG TV, and you should be able to find this podcast rolling as we speak. So for the folks that are in this room, before we get ready to start our prayer, I would like to ask you to try to use your phones, please, to either get on the Zoom call or the YouTube call besides our guests. We want to try to make our audience as large and as good looking as possible. So please keep your screens on while you're watching the presentation and the podcast. Please, I want to encourage all of you to ask as many questions as possible as it's going on. We have 2 cameras that will be roving and trying to get the best clip for you guys as far as sound and as far as, seeing the people that are speaking. So it's helpful if you want to write in the chat if there's some things, technical issues like you can't hear or it's difficult to see or you want us to stay in one spot. You can add that in the bottom in the chat. When it is your turn to ask a question, please use the bottom part of your screen where it says reactions. That usually has a pop-up that allows you to raise your hand in Zoom. And then I will call on you in the order that I see your hand. So please, I hope you guys have enough questions. We are going to be asking some ourselves, and we're getting ready to get started. We're getting some last directions from our media director right now, and then we're going to get ready to go.
James to drop. And yeah, let's do it. Let me get a mic test. We start with you.
All right, so before I get started, you guys in the audience, if I could ask you to bring your screens up and give me a thumbs up if you can hear us okay, and if the sound is halfway decent. I appreciate that, Mr. Kevin Vince. Thank you. All right. All right. Stay tuned. We're getting ready to start the prayer and get started, y'all. All right, hold on.
Hearts and minds are clear. I'm going to say a quick prayer to respect different gods and belief systems. I'm going to keep it in general. God, we come to you now in the attitude of prayer. First, thank you for this opportunity to come to something amazing. We ask that your spirit flow through here and help us. Let the right words be said and the right energies flow so that it can help those that need to help the most. Thank you, God, for helping us behind the scenes to make sure things flow the way we're supposed to. And ultimately, we give you the glory for the amazing work that we get to do. In your mighty names we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's go.
All right.
I'm rolling.
Can you use that link and send it to these brothers? Maybe we can get them on their phone.
Make sure your phone's on silent.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. First of all, I want to say thank everybody for coming out. I want to welcome you guys to our ninth series of our Black Fathers Inc. podcast. Today, we are attacking a few host of topics. Number one, fatherhood, self-owned business. Before we get started, I'd like to send a few shout outs to a few people that's been supporting us along the way. Number one, California Department of Health, big supporters of Black Fathers Inc. We want to say thank you guys. And California Children's Home. You know, it need not even define what that means. You know the work that they do. So we just want to say thank you guys for y'all supporting what y'all doing. And look, man, we are in our ninth series right now, man. We've been putting in this work in here. And I want to say a big shout out to my team and my production team before I get started. But this one right here, man, we're going to set precedents. Today, I got some very esteemed gentlemen in here with me, right? Distinguished gentlemen from the community, business owners, nonprofit founders, mentors. I'm gonna let these guys introduce themselves because I don't want to get nobody's name wrong, even though I've been knowing these dudes since the sandbox. These dudes are not only my friends, but also my brothers. We share a common bond, and that's change, right? We all come from a part in our life where it was kind of rough, and we knew that a better day was coming. And just so happened, we ended up meeting on the other side of the mountain at that better day. First of all, I'm going to start with my brother, comrade, and friend, also co-founder of Brother for You, Reginald Chapter. You introduce yourself, brother, please.
All right, how you doing, people? How you doing? My name is Reginald Chavez, Senior. I am the founder and the creator of my own nonprofit 501c3 Eminence of Cause. That's men's and Mrs. Positive Activity workshops. That's being set up as a platform to address various problems that youth go through. A series of different kinds of workshops to be able to have provide a safe space and different activities for kids to learn, self-awareness and different things for that are going to help them to be able to take that next step in life, right? Even after they start, right? So I'm here today to talk about whatever topics that are right here before us. Thank everybody for the invitation. I'm going to pass it along to my brother. I'm buying a copy of this book. My brother, the author of this book, Mr. Clifford McCall.
I'm Clifford McCall. I'm a mentor, coach, youth leader, advocate to the streets. I've been around for a minute, making change in the communities, trying to get the street back where it's supposed to be. I'm a coach, mentor.
Right.
Hi, I'm Corey Craig, and I'm just a father. A lot of other things I probably could say, but I'm just a father. So that's really my claim to fame, I guess I would say.
Right. Welcome out, fellas, man. Look, man, introduction, man. You know that power, man. That power introduction, right? Before we get started, man, I'm gonna just ask y'all a simple question, man, just to kind of lightweight break the ice, right? If you could pick any animal, man, what animal would you pick? Man? Not a lot of animals, just one animal. I just want to know what animal would you pick? So what is any animal? Gorilla, bear, you know, what would it be? Wolverine. Wolverine. Got you. What about you, bro? Alligator. Okay, got you. What about you, bro?
Off the top, I'm man's best friend. I'm gonna have to pick a dog.
Right, got you. All right, well, me, I've been in love with that silverback, right? I mean, mainly because of the talent and the wisdom that it possessed. We probably all got our own reasons why you picked the animal. But to me, animals tell you a lot about a person, right? And it gives you a reason why we attach to certain things because we kind of like it to that spirit. So when I was a child, right, man, I always looked up to older people in different things, right? And I'm trying to figure out what can we do as a whole in the setting that we set to be able to change the dynamics the way children see the world. As a child, I see myself as a silverback, right? So even though I wasn't a silverback, it sent me to school with almost a bullies type mentality, right? So now I'm trying to figure out the children of the day, the mistakes that they've been making. What can we do to make them see the world as a better place? Do you guys have any type of feedback on that we can put on the table? It's a good statement. I have 35 now. I have 4 boys, 20, 21, 20, and 20. 2 biological and 2 non-biological, but they're my boys anyway. That's a tough question because I feel like the dynamics have changed from when we were younger and now. I feel like what's going on in the streets is different. Right. I think the capacity to make money is different. I think that economics is different. I just think it's a lot different. And I think that maybe the change, maybe it's in the kids, it's in us. It's in our understanding of what they're going through. And I think that for me, just me personally speaking on me, because I'll be around a lot of different adults. And a lot of them are just one-minded because of how they feel the situation should be. Okay, let me ask you this question that I can get to where I'm going. This is a method to my madness right now. What's your definition of hero? My mom. Okay. What about you, bro? What's your definition of hero? As a child coming up, you know what I'm saying? What was your definition of hero? I was a hero. Okay. But as a child, what did you look up? I witnessed so much. Right. Life. Right. It makes you want to be a hero. Right. To protect yours. Right. Well, what about you, bro?
Nice, bro. My definition. Saying to be honest, bro, my definition of hero, I didn't even realize what my definition was as I was coming up, but I realized that as I got older, that my definition of hero was somebody that stood up for the people, for the underdog people in the category where I stood up at. Right. So, you know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali was 3 of my favorite people in history. And I tell people that all the time because they always stood up for the people and what they and the kind of struggle that they actually gave you not just a problem, but they actually try to direct you toward a solution to try to help you overcome your problems too. And then so those are heroes to me.
Right. Okay. My definition of a hero when I was a child and my definition of a hero when I was an adult is drastically changed, right? My definition of a hero as an adult is someone that served their community and uplift the people. Kind of like the same definition of uniting and guiding. Uniting the people and guiding them to a better cause and a better day, right? Right. My definition of a hero when I was a child was people with tights on that really wasn't the truth, wasn't reality, right? People with costumes on, Halloween costume, capes and shit, having us thinking we can do stuff that we really, really couldn't do. So now at this point in my life right now, I'm trying to redefine what I show these kids as being heroes and being mentors and figures, right? And it all correlate around Black-owned business, right? And being in a power structure in your community, right? So my definition of hero now are you gentlemen. You see what I'm saying? You guys are heroes, right? We all are heroes. When we do this kind of work, even though we don't get the likes on Facebook, even though people don't pat us on our back, you got to believe we got superpowers, bro. We saving lives every day. So I just wanted to just, soften the table up a little bit before we get started and attack these, because that's one of my main focus, man. Is trying to make sure every single person that get involved with UnitedGuidance.org, some kind of way be able to go back to their community and be a hero in their own right. Whether you're a plumber, a gardener, a mentor, a conflict resolution coach, a basketball coach, you got your own castle, you got your own tribe, you got your own people to feed and teach, right? So you should have your own people to go back with. Thank y'all for that. So we're gonna move on, man. We're gonna move on. I want to just talk about a couple of things, man. We got so many things going on right now, right? And I'm proud of you, man. Credits you already know, bro. We chop it up so much in our personal space. I sit at this dude table, man, 8 hours out the penitentiary, right? After doing 14 years straight, sitting on my back, dreaming about these kind of days. Sat at this dude table, told him what we was getting ready to do, and now we're here, right? But in the midst of that, he was always a business owner in his own right. Self-employed, homeowner. So I just want to know, bro, what do you got to say to the people, man, as far as your journey and what you got to contribute as far as being a business owner in your own right?
So I think that it's possible for any person to do what they want to do. You just have to believe. I also believe that mentorship is very big. I was lost at the time. I happened to meet a man who mentored me, helped me find a way. So that's why I'm so united and guided.
Yes, sir.
I know.
Right.
And go back to your point, the heroes. When we were coming up, my heroes when I was young, they with my mother, but also I'm not gonna lie, with the drug dealers on the streets.
Right.
They were my heroes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know no football players. I didn't know no basketball players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. The Pete Browns.
The cats that was coming around looking fly and dressing fly and looking out for me. That was my heroes.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that was right or wrong. I'm just gonna say, but for me, I wanted to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Never really, I had to get a job at 15. My mom made me get a job, and I just this is not really what I want to do. So for me, just working for myself and wanting to be my own man, control my own time and destiny, that kind of what made me drive to just open different businesses.
Right. Well said. Appreciate that, bro. The energy is flowing, man. I just really got comfortable just now. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. This ain't an easy thing to push back here, man. But as you do things, the more, man, it's called repetitive. You get better and better at it. Right. So young Mr. Clifford McDowell, man, Arthur, right? Stand up, man. I had a conversation with this guy earlier today, right? And we come from the same part of the cloth, man. I've seen him in his athletic ability, what could have been, and then I've seen him in his street ability that literally could have sunk him. Right. So he chose to put some of it on the shelf, man, and uphold the rest. And that's why he's here with us today. Free author, family man, husband. Every time I see him, he's with his wife. Right. Every time I see him, he got about 50 people around him acting like they don't want to do what he was doing, but really they looking for change also. So I just want to get this dude his flowers before I pass the mic to him, man. Big ups to you, little bro. Your transformation to change. Can you please tell the people a little bit about your awesome book, man, that I was able to get today, and let us know what we're going to be able to top this thing at.
All right. One piggyback off credit real quick about the hero thing. I feel the same thing you said. Like I said, I was, but we looked up to y'all. You know what I mean? I seen you colors since I was little, walking. Seen all the trunks. I seen everybody you was with.
Right.
You know, I seen everybody. You know, I was right there from beach to 33rd to everybody.
Right.
But that's what made us want to grind hard.
Right.
As far as heroes, like you were saying, so I'm piggyback off that.
Right.
As far as the book, it's really a message. Is what I've been through in my life.
Whoa.
You know, I got Porsche 11. You know, selling dope, doing all stuff at a young age. But after a while, you got to think, man. You got to think, man. Is it worth it? It took me a couple times going to jail with this last one. It really woke me up. You know what I'm saying? I had 2 kids, so I had no choice but to make money. I had to take care of them. I had covered the kid at 16, 15. So it was hard. So basically, that's what the book's about. It's about everything I've been through in my life.
Whoa.
And the change, and the good and the bad.
Right.
You know, no fronting. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest and don't care what nobody think.
Right.
Just being me. You know what I'm saying? You can't sugarcoat nothing if you're going to be doing what you're doing. Like I said, people say more stories. I got positive. A lot of people best messages in the book is I've been through every neighborhood in Sacramento.
Right.
All their names in there, between 9th Street to the Creek, to the Manors, to the Heights, to the Flats, to Meadowview, Detroit. And I dealt with everybody at a young age. And I tell people, man, you gotta spread your wings, man. You sucked up in a park, sucked up in your neighborhood, you'll get lost. The amount of times that helped me knowing everybody, multiple times. Running from people, getting jumped, fighting, just growing up all my life. Knowing so many people helped me save my life 1,001 times.
Right.
People that go to their own neighborhood, like, you ain't from touch Clifford. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it's loyalty. The people that's from not your neighborhood is more loyalty than some people in your neighborhood. That's just the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's basically what the book's about, stuff like that. And how I grew up. I grew up out there. My mom and dad was there on both sides, no part. Mom and dad's side, but I choose to do what I do. I don't blame nobody.
Right.
I don't blame my mom and dad.
You know, there's a such thing now, right, as lived experience. I don't know if I'm saying lived experience, learned experience, it's lived experience. So a lot of the things that we have been through nowadays, right, they are now giving us credibility for, right? Because of your experience in life, you can now teach, right, what you're already doing. We do the work for free anyway, right? So with this new thing that we're talking about, man, with the experience, right? Me and a couple of my brothers, that's a couple on the panel that's in the background, one to my left, Reginald Chavez. We started this organization, which is another 501c nonprofit organization that provide wraparound services called Brotherhood for You, right? And we're trying to focus in on trying to put a circle around hindsight and foresight, right? And I think I might need to define that a little bit because I want to get you guys' opinion on it, right? Hindsight is being able to see behind you, right? Foresight is being able to see in front of you, right? And I sat around and thought about, okay, when I was 15 years old, if I was sharp enough to be able to know that there was a such thing as foresight and hindsight, I knew it existed, I knew the word, but I didn't know the definition. To be able to see the steps in front of me and be able to see a little bit behind me. I think it'll help us make better decisions, right? So what I'm trying to figure out, it might not be the best words, but I'm trying to figure out how can we put a circle around trying to wake these kids up to have them to be able to think about this. Credit.
That would be a good one. I think what you're doing right now,
right.
I think the podcast and social media, just to wake them up. I think being in the music business and just learning different things that how they operate now. You know, you can't do too much because they'll turn you off. It has to be kind of like spoon fed a little bit. I think when you just like the kids that come around want to know about stuff right now. If I preach too much to them, they're gonna turn me off and leave. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta know when to do it and when not to, I think.
Right.
And I think that's the method that we just have to learn.
Right.
And I mean, when I was young, I used to turn, I don't want to hear that. I'm done. That's not what I want to hear right now.
Right. What about you, Cliff?
I've always been a listener.
Right.
So I've never hung with my age ever.
Right.
I'm the youngest of everybody.
Right, always.
I always been young. I really had it good though. I came from, I was spoiled. I had all the main people looking out for me, all the main people I was in the car with, all the main people I followed and watched. But like you said, like when I get a little clip on down, I'm like, come for the pick up. Like, nah, Dad, I'm fucking hearing that today. You won. He'll tell me just like that. I'm preaching. Like Marquise, he's a real good. He out there.
Right.
You know, he got podcasts, everything. He preaches the same stuff. He got the Curry program.
Okay.
He brought me to that.
Sir. Right.
The Curry program.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The college program. We do a lot of stuff. I'm learning from him right now.
Right.
As we speak. As far as the tutoring and mentoring and stuff. And we both certified mental health. I'm certified. Grip work on it, you know.
Before I get to Mr. Chavez, Reginald Chavez, I'm gonna kind of spill the beans a little bit of the reason why I was asking these questions, right? Because I believe, and this is just something that I learned, this is where I learned hindsight and foresight from, right? Was the game of chess, right? So I believe, right, the knowledge that I learned from playing chess, because I didn't learn until I went to prison. If I'd have knew the game of chess before I went to prison, I would have never went to prison. And I'm 100% confident of that, right? And I'm gonna say I take that back. If I'd have had chess explained to me by the gentleman that explained the game to me, because when he explained it to me from a street sense. He didn't explain it to me from a chessboard. Even though we were playing chessboard, he named the pieces off like the neighborhood. And this is how you move in real life, right? This is how you think about what you're doing and give it secondary thoughts, third thought, forethought before you even walk out the door. This is how you think about the cat when you can get in your car, right? And you know he just got off of probation. You know he carry guns, right? You know you're trying to change, but you get in the car with him anyway, right? So that's like almost like hindsight and forethought. When you can think about what happened to your partner yesterday, and you can get out and go to the big park and go do the same exact thing. That's hindsight and forethought, right? So the method to my madness is what I'm saying about these kids. Right. If we can figure out a way to be able to paint the picture in front of them and be able to paint the picture that their little partner did behind them, they can make better decisions. And I believe, right, just like you can teach football certain kind of ways, you can teach the game of chess certain kind of ways. If we can figure out a way to implement in sports, just like my nephew, I got a nephew by Richard Johnson, right? I've been telling him his whole career, don't be afraid to denounce the way we used to come up. Be quick to tell people you're an athlete. Be quick to stand up when people ask you what's your name, because that takes a second, you can lose your life, right? So I push a hard line on trying to give these kids a way out. And I believe the game of chess is similar to something that I'm looking for. Mr. Chavez, can you tune in on that for me, please, sir?
Well, chess could be my next school, but I feel similar to what you like. If I'd learned how to play chess before I start making life-changing decisions that's going to just impact my whole life, I would have had a whole entirely different course. Because if I had a nickel for every time I said, if I'd have known this before, then X, Y, Z, how much better it would have been for myself. So, hindsight, foresight. The only thing I like to start out by saying now is, man, like a whole lot of what we want to be able to encourage. I think a lot of people to be able to do is just have some self-awareness. Like we have, like just a lot of us, we come about the bricks. It's all kind of traumatic and traumatizing experiences that so many young people, go through. Us when we was coming up, even in youth right now. And the thing about it is, I think that a lot of the times, we don't have that self-awareness to understand that when we see somebody get punched in the face or shot or stabbed or something scary happens with a family member, it doesn't necessarily even a brother or sister are getting bit by a dog. Like there's a flicker of trauma that happens in somebody's head that's going to affect the next time that you come up across a situation, how you're going to decide to handle that situation, right? So I might see a dog bite my sister, and then every time I see a dog now in the future, now I want to kick the dog. But it's not the same dog that bit my sister, right? But that's because I got this traumatic experience in my head. So what I'm saying is one of the first things that I would encourage is like that's one of the things that I have in mind with like getting with my positive activity workshops, creating workshops like self-awareness that teach a platform to be able to have self-awareness, and then help people to be able to understand the participants, the kids, that there is a number of tools that we can have to be able to address these other different things. Because sad to say, before I even got into prison, I didn't know nothing about no toolbox of something that I could use to improve myself, my decision making in life before I started learning through personal development groups that I was going in. Like nobody had ever talked to me about a toolbox.
I think to piggyback on that, as a father, my father wasn't in my life. And I think one of the biggest choices that I think a father has with his children, just my own personal opinion, is helping them choose friends. And I think that has I think in our community, I think a person teaching their children how to choose friends, or a father being there. Because your father gonna be the one's gonna be like, bro, right there, he really ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? He can't come over. And my mom, she worked, so it wasn't really, my father wasn't really around. But so, I think as a father, helping your children choose friends has a lot to do with if choosing the right people that will give them self-assurance, being around people that will motivate, you know what I'm saying? And not people that don't have something else on the back end for them. That might have their best interest at heart. So I think that has a lot to do with what you're saying too. I think that's a father's role I personally feel, me personally, that's a father's role in what you're saying.
Exactly. And I'm
And you tell me about being able to study yourself and understand how to calm yourself down is the truth. Right? It's like you come to my house, do a job, do the toolbox, do all type of different tools. Right? And you like get you ready for life on the streets. You need to pack your toolbox with every kind of tool you can learn while you're in this place, sitting down with that tool. I started reading, learning different stuff. Right? At 50, I'm still putting tools in my toolbox. Right? I just stumbled across a tool. I call it the question. Right? It's a book called Emotional Intelligence. Right? this tool right here, right? If I learned about this tool, if I had this tool in my two books at 18, 19 years old, no telling where I'll be. I'm not about to be an astronomer or something. You know what I'm saying?
Take the time to read.
That's a good question. That's a good
What
question.
scene when you take? See,
That's a
I'm
good
here
question.
listening to some. I'm 54. I'll be
Right.
54 in January.
Right.
And I'm maybe the oldest person on here or something like that. I'm saying that I'm sitting here listening to a lot of us say things that we learned with age and prison time and a lot of stuff. At 18, I was hungry.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I heard what you said. I heard you say when these kids on the street, but these kids on the street right now, you talking about we're gonna give some tools to people who they're hungry. Their baby brother, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mom might be
Right.
prostituting.
Right.
I'm saying, let's give them like my son's friend, I've had kids stay with me for months. I've had my son's friends at 17 come from high school, they living with me for like, they my kids. I believe it. I'm saying, my sons are just 20, so this is recent. I'm saying this, and this is not one kid, two kids, this is normal. Like this is, I've had kids living in cars to where my girl was like, you can't sleep in no cars, man. You gotta come in the house. I'm saying this is right now in 2020. So I'm saying when you say tools to help these kids, I'm more focused with my children is just like make sure they're productive and they're healthy and they're and every day is struggle out here.
I see that's a tool though. Like you focusing in on giving them the tools in society, it ain't nothing but old screwdriver or hammer or something.
Right.
That's a tool to put in the toolbox.
You're right.
So you gotta think about what you're saying.
So I'm saying 18 though, I was saying, go back to what I was saying. I don't know if I was ready to receive that information.
Right. Right.
You have somebody speak the language.
It's a big area. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna tell you like really watch this here, watch this here, watch that. At 18, if I'd have had the Corey Prentice, right, Joseph Thomas's, the Reginald Chavis's, the Clifford McDowell's with football program, right, the Richard Johnson's with all this people stuff, those like a lot of it would have slowed down the rest.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you know,
right. Salvation Army.
Right. I had the type of tools I had was totally opposite.
Right.
I was getting red rags. You know what I'm saying? It was a spot. So right.
The whole thing is that, and I just started trying to figure this out like in my 20s to be able to do it. But you gotta be able to talk to somebody. Like I like to take pride. I can have a conversation with anybody from the bricks to a college student, like a business owner, whatever, and I can hold my own in a conversation. And comprehensive.
That's another thing I learned. We're real good at is language. Right. Like the person who talks the language, you gotta sound like that.
Right.
I got falling. I gotta look a kid.
Right.
Language. Right. We still talk about the same stuff, you know, over here. Right. I think I teach my kids a lot. My mother taught me to listen to words. Yeah. And that's the words that we say a lot, and that's what you said, language. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, a lot of times people just you know that old saying we go about, hey, the same way you talk yourself into something, you talk yourself out of something. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to put that in your mind. You know, these kids is tough. I think they have it tougher than we had it. Just me personally, I think they have it tougher. I think that old saying you put your kids out at 18, that's impossible. Rank's 2,400. What 18-year-old, what 35-year-old right now is paying rent by this?
Man.
What 40-year-old? So I'm saying he's saying 18-year-old, we gotta go. I think as a people, some of our ways need to change. Also want to help our kids. It just went different. Everything. Our era was really selling open cars on the air. Now we're breaking houses on the basis and credit cards. Right. And that's it. See, my son asked one time, Dad, teach me. That's what I said, no. I was trying to get a job. It's like that's nothing to talk about egos and pride. Certain ages, like 18, 19, they don't want a job, they work about their friends. Right. You see, we take some kids, like y'all took us, we took us inside. I'll be calling y'all always. That's like so much love.
I seen you too, man. I fit through car you look like a Brady Bunch in this, man. On everything, man. He come with a whole team. He got a whole team. Well, look, gentlemen, we've had a phenomenal time here, man. This 45 minutes went so fast, right? And I just want to thank you guys, man. Our input today, man. This was magical, man. Y'all gotta understand, man. This is magical. And also, I want to say thank you to the audience today, man. We have went up hopefully, we'll be talking about the next coming up. And I want to do a big shout out real quick to my guest, Corey Credit, Clifford McDowell Jr., Reginald Chavez Sr., myself as the host, Joseph Thomas. Quick thanks to UnitedInguided.org and all the other parties that help facilitate this movement. Peace out to you guys, man. God bless. Y'all have a good day.
All right, cut. All right, thank you all for participating. This will be recorded. Thank you, Cliff. This will be, this is in the cloud, so we'll be having some clips to share with everybody. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Hey, Mr. Hill, thank you very much for sitting through. Brother Jeremy, I see you out there. Miss Denise, Mr. Vince, thank you all. The lovely Miss LaShanya, who's doing the roving camera. Just want to appreciate you guys. You are what's making this podcast flourish. We're on the 9th episode. We just got picked up for another contract to do 24 more episodes. So look for Black Fathers Inc. coming out soon. We're going to continue to do this every third Tuesday of the month. I know this is the second Tuesday. We had to make some adjustments, but typically it's the third Tuesday. So this is Imani Lucas signing out. United and Guided, Black Fathers Inc., California Department of Public Health, Sacramento Children's Home, and all the organizations and guests that got involved today. Big thank you.